In one of the driest desert regions on the planet, Saudi Arabia is developing a chain of mega projects with a total value reaching trillions of dollars, stretching from linear cities hundreds of kilometers long to floating industrial ports offshore and even mountain resorts where snow may appear in the middle of the Middle East. These are not ordinary construction projects. This is a national-scale restructuring effort of unprecedented scope in the 21st century, where infrastructure, energy, logistics, urban systems, and technology are being redesigned almost from the ground up. From The Line, a 170-kilometer car-free city, to Oxagon, the world's largest floating industrial city, and Trojena, a mountain tourism destination in the desert, each project represents a bold experiment in how people may live in the future. But the bigger question is not what Saudi Arabia is building. It is why a desert nation has decided to reshape its entire economy and living environment within just a few decades. Oxagon. Along the northwestern coastline of Saudi Arabia, where the desert meets the deep waters of the Gulf of Aqaba, one of the most ambitious industrial centers of the 21st century is gradually taking shape. Oxagon, the world's first floating industrial city planned from the outset to operate on clean energy as part of the NEOM megaproject. Unlike traditional industrial zones that typically develop inland, following the familiar port warehouse factory logic, Oxagon is designed as a future manufacturing hub located partly on the sea with a massive octagonal structure extending outward from the Red Sea coast. This is not simply a new industrial district, but a national-scale experiment aimed at redefining how the world builds supply chains in the post-oil era. At the heart of Oxagon is a highly automated port system positioned along one of the busiest maritime shipping routes on the planet, a corridor through which approximately 13% of global trade passes each year. From this strategic location, the city is expected to become a logistics hub connecting 3 continents, Asia, Europe, and Africa, within just a few hours of flight time. But Oxagon's ambitions do not stop at transportation. The city has also planned to develop next-generation industries such as green hydrogen production, clean technology, industrial robotics, automated supply chains, and large-scale smart manufacturing. What makes Oxagon particularly distinctive lies in how it is designed to operate. The entire industrial ecosystem is intended to run on 100% renewable energy, integrated with a digitalized logistics network, a smart port system, and real-time connected production infrastructure. Rather than expanding according to 20th century industrial urban models, Oxagon represents a transition toward a new generation industrial ecosystem, where manufacturing, energy, and infrastructure are designed as a coordinated system from the very beginning. And for this very reason, Oxagon is being seen as a prototype for the future of global industry, now taking shape in the middle of the Middle Eastern desert. The Line. The Line is the centerpiece of NEOM, a completely new development region in northwestern Saudi Arabia. The project was initiated by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman as a cornerstone of Vision 2030, a national plan aimed at restructuring the country's economy, reducing its dependence on oil, and shifting towards services, technology, tourism, and real estate. Conceptually, the Line is a massive linear city stretching 170 kilometers across the desert. It is described as having no cars and no traditional streets, with all essential services located within a 5-minute walk. Long-distance transportation relies on a high-speed rail system, while energy is supplied by wind and solar power, and water comes from desalination plants. The project is estimated to require a total investment of around $500 billion, making the Line one of the most expensive urban ambitions ever proposed. If completed according to its original vision, the Line could accommodate up to 9 million residents, a population scale comparable to many of today's global megacities. For this reason, the Line is not only regarded as a large-scale construction project, but also as an unprecedented urban experiment in which Saudi Arabia is attempting to redefine how people live in the cities of the 21st century. To Trojena, hidden deep within the mountains of northwestern Saudi Arabia, where elevations exceeding 2,000 meters create a rare cool microclimate in the otherwise hot and arid Middle East, an unprecedented mountain resort development is gradually taking shape. Trojena, the mountain tourism hub of the NEOM mega project, designed as a new experiment in how people can create temperate climate destinations in the middle of the desert. Unlike traditional coastal resorts in the region, Trojena is planned as a four-season tourism ecosystem where temperatures are significantly lower than in the surrounding desert and can support winter sports activities through advanced snowmaking technology. Thanks to these unique geographic conditions, Trojena has been selected to host the Asian Winter Games 2029, marking the first time a continental-scale winter sports event will be held in the Middle East. At the center of Trojena is a large artificial lake located among the Rocky Mountain ranges, serving as both the landscape core and a microclimate regulator for the entire area. Surrounding the lake is a system of slope-integrated hotels, outdoor sports facilities, ski routes, mountain environmental research centers, and high-end resorts designed to operate using renewable energy. Rather than developing a single resort complex, Trojena represents a complete mountain resort city model where architecture, terrain, and climate technology are integrated into a new experiential system in the middle of the Middle Eastern desert. If Oxagon represents the future of industry, then Trojena is Saudi Arabia's first major experiment in creating an international-scale mountain tourism destination in a region whose climate was once considered incapable of supporting winter. Sindalah. Located in the clear blue waters of the Red Sea in northwestern Saudi Arabia, Sindalah is one of the first projects to be implemented within the broader NEOM development region and is considered the international tourism gateway to the entire NEOM ecosystem. Unlike future urban developments such as the Line or the industrial center Oxagon, Sindalah is planned as a high-end resort island targeting the global luxury marine tourism and yachting market. The island is located near a major maritime shipping corridor connecting the Mediterranean Sea with the Indian Ocean, giving Sindalah a particular advantage in attracting international yacht routes and visitors from Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. At the center of the project is a modern marina system capable of accommodating hundreds of vessels of various sizes, surrounded by beachfront resorts, luxury hotels, a coastal golf course, and retail and entertainment centers designed according to ultra-luxury tourism standards. Not only serving as an independent resort destination, Sindalah is also considered an important pilot project for Saudi Arabia's marine tourism development strategy during its post-oil economic transition. With infrastructure designed to operate on clean energy and a master plan integrated into the natural landscape of the Red Sea, the project is expected to become a new marine tourism hub for the region, while also serving as the first window through which the world can access the new urban and economic vision that NEOM is pursuing in the 21st century. Aquellum. Not every future city is built on the surface. Within the development strategy of NEOM, a completely different urban model is being proposed. Aquellum, a linear city embedded deep within the coastal mountain formations along the Gulf of Aqaba of Saudi Arabia, where the entire urban environment is organized vertically inside natural geological structures rather than expanding across the desert surface like traditional cities. According to the initial master plan, Aquellum will extend along a canyon corridor approximately 2.5 kilometers in length, with stacked functional layers arranged vertically within the mountain interior. Instead of a conventional street network, the city's primary transportation axis is designed as a high-speed mobility system running continuously along the length of the urban corridor, connecting resorts, luxury hotels, cultural spaces, and commercial centers within a single integrated structure. This approach allows most of the natural landscape above to remain largely undisturbed, while also creating an urban environment with improved microclimate control under harsh desert conditions. Aquellum is not only an iconic architectural project, but also an important experiment within the development strategy of the Magna resort corridor. the northwestern coastal zone of NEOM that is planned to become a new experiential tourism hub for the Red Sea region. Epicon. Along the northwestern coastline of Saudi Arabia, a pair of soaring glass towers is being planned to become one of the first landmarks shaping a new skyline for the region. This is Epicon, a landmark hotel and luxury resort complex within the Magna tourism development corridor of the NEOM mega project, where Saudi Arabia is gradually building an entirely new Red Sea Riviera. Epicon is not designed as a traditional low-rise beachfront resort spread horizontally along the coast. Instead, the entire hospitality experience is organized vertically through two slender towers rising directly from the coastal terrain. Their multi-layered reflective facades allow the buildings to shift in tone with the changing sunlight and sea colors throughout the day, creating the impression that the architecture moves together with the surrounding landscape. This reflects a familiar planning strategy within NEOM, transforming each structure into a spatial landmark rather than simply a place to stay. Inside Epicon, premium accommodation spaces, sky lounges, elevated restaurants, and coastal amenities are arranged as a continuous sequence of experiences oriented toward the waters of the Gulf of Aqaba, a yachting tourism route that Saudi Arabia is positioning as a new international development corridor. Within the broader Magna corridor, Epicon functions as a major visual anchor, a structure distinctive enough to place the region on the global tourism map, while still maintaining the restraint necessary to blend into the characteristic landscape of the Red Sea. Mukkab megaproject. Saudi Arabia is considered the birthplace of future projects that seem to exist only in science fiction. After the line stretching across the desert and the floating industrial city Oxagon, this Middle Eastern nation continues to make headlines with a new icon, Mukkab, a cube-shaped megastructure located at the center of the new Maraba urban development in the capital city of Riyadh. In Arabic, the word Mukkab means cube. The structure is designed at an almost unreal scale, with a height, width, and length of approximately 400 meters each, large enough to contain 20 Empire State Buildings entirely within it. Inside this cube, the space is not simply commercial. The core concept of the project is to create a completely new immersive destination, where a gigantic dome is covered with advanced projection technology. A spiraling tower at the center will house hotels, theaters, cinemas, and restaurants, while the roof is planned as an elevated park, but transforming the entire structure into a self-contained city operating inside a single building. As of now, the project has only reached the foundation stage, and there are no visible signs of new progress. In the world of mega projects, developments worth tens of billions of dollars often move quickly into construction phases to build investor confidence and demonstrate that the vision exists beyond paper. However, many projects, after spectacular groundbreaking ceremonies, slow down due to escalating costs, technology that is not yet ready, or shifting economic priorities. Mukkab currently stands at that boundary. This opens a familiar possibility. The project may proceed in multiple phases, be scaled down, delayed for years, or even become an unfinished symbol of ambition that exceeded its era. From linear cities stretching for hundreds of kilometers across the desert, to floating industrial centers on the sea, and mountain resorts where snow may appear in the middle of the Middle East, the mega projects of Saudi Arabia are demonstrating an unprecedented level of ambition, reshaping the country's entire economic structure and spatial organization in the 21st century. Despite the many challenges ahead in terms of engineering, financing, and construction timelines, projects such as NEOM, the Red Sea Project, in New Maraba are becoming some of the boldest urban development experiments ever undertaken in the world. And perhaps it is here, in the harsh desert environment of the Arabian Peninsula, that an entirely new model of development is being tested, one that may shape how the megacities of the future are built over the coming decades. If you would like to continue exploring megastructures that are transforming the world day by day like these, do not forget to like the video and follow Mandarin Tech so you do not miss the next stories about large-scale engineering and infrastructure.